What?
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy SB Big Josh, man. Back with another big body banger. Anyways, today we about to be reacting to the top 7 forgotten rappers of the 2010s. You feel me? It should be an interesting list. So let's get to the video, man.
The 2010s. Have you ever stopped and just thought to yourself, whatever happened to that rapper? It's a story as itself. Someone comes out with a hit song, has their 15 minutes of fame, and then disappears into the ether. But it seems like rappers come and go even more frequently than musicians from other genres. Sure, there are huge stars that seem to always be popular, but the list of forgotten rappers seems never-ending. The funny thing about forgotten rappers is that they're, well, forgotten. It's hard to remember some of the biggest rappers of the past unless you're reminded of them. But as soon as you hear a name that you haven't heard in years, all those memories come flooding back. For some rappers, those might be great memories of riding around in the car and listening to songs. For other rappers, you might only remember being annoyed by hearing their song on the radio over and over. Regardless, there is already a laundry list of rappers from the 2010s that we've forgotten about. And the culture changed a lot in a short amount of time. So-called mumble rappers began to change the mainstream into more melodic, singing-oriented sound. Other rappers went for a quick cash grab by making viral dance songs that they hoped would blow up on Vine or Thriller. Before I jump into this video though, make sure you like this video and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Now, here are 7 forgotten rappers of the 2010s. Number 7, Silento. If there was ever an artist to define the term one-hit wonder in the context of 2010s rap, it was definitely Silento. Born in Atlanta, Silento came out of the gate swinging with the show-stopping Watch Me Whip, better known as the Nene song, in 2015. The rapper's debut single went to number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100, and suddenly the whip and the Nene were everywhere. We don't blame you if you hated this song. It's hard to argue that it wasn't annoying, whether that was because of it being overplayed or just because the song was bad. We'll let you decide, but you can't deny that it took the world by storm. Watch Me was almost impossible to escape. It was on every radio station, it played in the mall, and it even played on Nickelodeon. The kids loved it. Silento failed to come up with another hit after Watch Me, and his follow-up mixtape, Fresh Outta High School, flopped pretty damn hard. It didn't help that he waited a total of 3 years after the release of Watch Me to drop his tape. By the time it came out, everyone had already moved on to the next viral dance trend, and the next. And the next. Silento released a song called I'm Back earlier this year, hoping to rekindle some kind of flame he had previously. No dice. Number 6, Hopsin. Wow. Where do I even start with Hopsin? One of the rappers that people hailed as the savior of the genre during the rise of mumble rap. Hopsin was known for his rapid-fire lyrics, beefs with other rappers, and white contact lenses. He was basically the Eminem of the 2010s, at least as far as his style goes. But Hopsin's story actually starts way before the 2010s. He was rapping as early as 2001, and his debut album was finished in 2003. He slowly started to accumulate fans, but it wasn't until he started dropping music videos for his Ill Mind of Hopsin series that he became really popular. Ill Mind of Hopsin 4 threw shots at Tyler the Creator and the rest of the Odd Future collective, which definitely helped propel Hopsin to greater heights of fame. He positioned himself as the antithesis of Odd Future, and all those who hated the crew loved it. Hopsin also developed some beef with Soulja Boy around the same time. So what happened to him? He's still releasing music, but it's not doing so well. His die-hard fans are still listening, but a lot of his popularity was built up by curious people who found him via YouTube. Eventually, his edginess just wore off from those people. Number 5, Roscoe Dash. If you remember anything about Roscoe Dash, it's probably one of 2 things: No Hands or All the Way Turned Up. Roscoe started off in the 2010s in great style by releasing a hit track and being featured on another. All the Way Turned Up was Roscoe's debut single, and it literally released on January 1st of 2010. What a way to start a decade. It went to number 46 on the Billboard and still stands out as an iconic song of the 2010s. The other song that most people know Roscoe for is, of course, No Hands. With Waka Flocka Flocka, Roscoe delivered a great verse on that track, and the whole song has aged surprisingly well. With these 2 songs, it seems like Roscoe was ready to take over the 2010s. He followed them up with an album called Ready, Set, Go, and then Nothing. Or at least that's what it looked like to most people. While Roscoe continued to release mixtapes that very few people tuned into, he got into some conflicts with Travis Porter, Meek Mill, Whale, and more. Roscoe went uncredited on a number of big songs that could have helped lift up his career. After these arguments...
No, bro, go back. Bro, he called dog Whale, bro. Bro, he called him Whale, man.
He got into some conflicts with Travis Porter, Meek Mill, Whale, and more.
Bro,
Roscoe
Wale?
was credited on a number of big songs that
Whale.
could have helped lift up his career. After these arguments fizzled out without anything going Roscoe's way, it seemed he became disillusioned with the mainstream and just opted to release music in a more underground fashion. Number 4, one-hit wonder Trinidad James really lost a golden opportunity. His debut single, All Gold Everything, hit the top 40 and became a small viral sensation in 2012. Following the success of this song, James got a deal with Def Jam and started to prepare his debut album. Meanwhile, All Gold Everything got a remix with T.I., 2 Chainz, and Young Jeezy. Obviously, the story of Trinidad James doesn't end up with him following up his debut single with more hit songs. So, what happened? How does someone with the power to record a song that popular just fall off? In Trinidad James' case, it was largely due to label issues. While it's unclear what really happened with Def Jam, the label ended up dropping him in 2014. While he had been signed for 2 years at that point, he was still dropped before he even had a chance to release his debut album. It's hard to say what would have happened with his career if he had just stayed with Def Jam. They obviously had the power to hook him up with other major artists, evidenced by the All Gold Everything remix. Would he have become a huge star? It's hard to say. He's kept releasing music since then, but for all intents and purposes, Trinidad James has definitely been forgotten, musically at least. But the guy actually hosts a show with Complex and has moved on to different ventures. Number 3, Rich Homie Quan. Of all of the forgotten rappers on this list, Rich Homie Quan is one of the saddest. The guy not only had huge potential as a solo artist, but his chemistry with Young Thug was unmatched. Newer fans of Thug may not know this, but Quan was one of the first people that Thug collaborated with once he hit the mainstream. Before Thug was recording with Uzi and releasing dream projects with Future, Rich Homie Quan was like a brother to him. As part of the Rich Gang Collective, Rich Homie Quan was featured alongside Thug on songs like Freestyle and Flava. But Quan also had a few hits of his own, Type of Way in 2013, Flex in 2015, and a few more round out his greatest hits. His catchy melodic tracks slotted in perfectly with the rest of the mainstream at that time, and his pairing with Thug made him stand out. But things didn't keep going up for Rich Homie Quan. It's hard to say what exactly went wrong, but it seems like a combination of things. For one, he had legal issues with his label in 2016, even taking them to court over lost earnings. For two, he had legal issues of his own in 2017, when he was arrested for felony drug possession. But the real nail in the coffin probably came from his falling off with Thug. While Rich Homie has stated that he will always consider Thug a brother, Thug famously called his former friend something that rhymes with rich. And it starts with a B. Who knows what happened between them, but Thug went onwards while Rich Homie fell behind. Number 2, Designer. Designer's debut single Panda was released at the end of 2015. Most people discovered the artist the first time that they listened through Kanye West's The Life of Pablo. The track P2 from Pablo samples Panda, and millions of listeners were left wondering who the guy that sounded like Future was on P2. Designer's vocals found their way onto Pablo after Kanye signed the young rapper to his label Good Music. If you already know a bit about Good Music's reputation, you probably already know where this is going. It might sound like a dream for a young artist to be signed to Kanye West, but the reality isn't quite so glamorous. Like many other artists on Good, Designer had some problems. The label reportedly didn't support him in any way. They wouldn't let him release music or even film music videos. Designer said that he would try to contact Kanye to speak about his music, only to fail to reach him, over and over. He was constantly looking for a way out. While he eventually did get out of Good Music's contract and moved on to be an independent artist, the damage was already done. People had forgotten about Designer. People immediately wrote him off as a clone of Future with only one flow, and he didn't have time to prove himself before he was left behind. Number 1, Sheck West. Sheck West earns the number 1 spot in this list mainly because there really seems to be no apparent reason for why he's been forgotten. While plenty of people probably still rock with his songs Mo Bamba or Live Sheck West, we haven't really heard much of West on the music front lately. Whether you like his music or not, it's hard to deny that that the guy is interesting. He has connections to Kanye's label, is seemingly close with Travis Scott, has plenty of ins with the fashion industry, has spent some time modeling, and even claims to have played competitive basketball when he was younger. Basketball is obviously important to him, as you might have guessed from Mo Bamba, but I'll get to that in a second. He kickstarted his career with the album Mud Boy in 2018. It charted well, and his songs were hard to escape at parties. After this, he appeared on one song on the Drake Boys compilation, and then kinda just fell off. He's released a few singles, but none of them have managed to make waves like Mo Bamba did. I mean, it was the de facto song for frat boys in 2018. Sheck West definitely still has time to revive his career, but it seems like he may just be interested in different things. In an interview with Pitchfork, he said that he wants to win Nobel Peace Prizes, Grammys, Emmys, Golden Globes, and VMAs. So he certainly has diverse interests. His sights are currently set far away from music. He just declared for the 2020 NBA draft.
What?
Whoa. So had you forgotten about any of these
For real,
names?
bro?
Let me know in the
I'll do a
comments.
video
And
on
before
that.
you leave, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to our channel.
So that's the end of the video, man. Shit, I hope y'all enjoyed it, honestly, man. But that was 7 forgotten rappers of the 2-time champs. If you enjoyed it, man, hit that like button, subscribe, all that, man. Join the Big Body Nation. But without further ado, man, I'll get at y'all next.